Hello, everybody. This is Casita YGO. Who do we have here?
My name is Ray, and I just finished top eight at the San Antonio Regionals this past weekend.
Wow, what deck?
I was playing Adamancipator Magnet Warriors.
Wow, and this is your invite, right?
Correct. This is my first ever top and my first invite.
Wow, wow. That's like it's different from other people in our testing circle because some people have gotten their invites but not a top. So this is a huge stepping stone for you. How do you feel?
It feels pretty good. I feel like I've been grinding a while, so it's nice to finally have gotten it. Versus in the past, like I've been like right on the cusp at like so many events at this point that it's been a bit frustrating. So I'm just glad that I finally got it and like the hard work paid off.
Yeah, you definitely worked really hard for this, bro. Like, congrats, truly. Before we get into the cards, do you have any shout outs for us?
Of course. First shout out my amazing girlfriend Jamie. She's so supportive of me coming out to play all the time. Uh, she's definitely amazing, and I wouldn't have been able to do it without her. And then after that, all the boys from Casita, uh, Alex, Esteban, Ever, Troy, Castro, Joe, and Santiago. You guys have all been my playtest partners for a while now. You guys push me to be better players every day. And without you guys, I wouldn't have gotten to where I am today.
Wow, alrighty. Well, thank you. So let's go ahead and get started.
Yeah. So starting, we start with three conduction warrior linear magnum plus minus. This guy's just the goat. He starts every combo. Magnet warrior sigma minus. He's kind of like a bootleg Fimena. Spell speed one lets you fuse from the hand. Then we have two of sigma plus. Lets you recur your cards from your grave. And then we have Beta, one of the best searchers in the deck, and combo extenders. Epsilon, another combo extender. And then Illusion, who is just like ultimate grind game. Every turn, he can special summon himself from the grave by banishing two. And then during your opponent's turn, he tributes himself and then special summon two from banish. And this is just like a infinitely recurring cycle unless it is interrupted. And then finally, for the magnet cards, we end on triple magnet ponding. It's pretty similar to like the Sulfur spell. You're able to use it like thrice per turn. Each effect is pretty strong. It lets you fuse at a quick effect speed, and it lets you search at quick effect speed as well. Moving on away from the magnet stuff, we have three Adamancipator Researcher, three Adamancipator Analyzer, and then two Adamancipator Seeker. They all kind of do the same thing. When they're on the field, you excavate the top five of your deck. If you find a level four or lower rock monster, you just get to special it out. It's a great extender to find any of the Magnet Warrior cards, and it's also a great extender to find the Kawaki Miru cards. Um,
I have to ask,
mhm.
did you hit more or did you whiff more on these cards?
I hit a lot this weekend. They definitely hit more when you're using them at the start of the combo and your saturation of rocks are high, like in the deck. But if you Magnet Warrior combo first and you're pulling out like six names, the odds that you hit like are significantly reduced, but not zero. So definitely, if you open them, it's nice to be able to start the combo with them, so that you can guarantee that they hit at a higher rate versus doing them to like close a combo.
How many times did you special out the Guardian with these cards?
I specialed him out a lot because even if you don't hit it on the first one, the odds that you hit it on the second is pretty high. Because once you go through like 10 cards and there's only 30 cards left in the deck, the odds that it hits is like pretty good. So it's very rare that you end on a turn where you haven't gotten Guardian into rotation.
Very cool.
Then moving on from Adamancipator, we start to get into more of the non-engine, counting Guardian as non-engine. Level 4 Earth Rock, not once per turn, contribute itself, negate, destroy when a monster activates its effect. Not once per turn. So if you can find a way to get him on the field more than once per turn, you're able to use him as many times as you're able to get him back out. Pretty broken. One Nibiru. It's just a rock. It's really good extension. One of the stronger combos that you're able to do is during your opponent's turn, you're able to chain one Delusion to tribute itself to summon two, and then chain two Nib. The Nib resolves, and then Delusion still summons the two bodies to your side of the field, which is pretty broken. So you go like +3 on your opponent in that one chain.
How
Then
how so, how often did Nibiru come up? Because a lot of people say, with decks like Cool Tune being able to look at the hand and play around it, and Branded not really caring about it. Do you feel like it put in work, and did it ever come up?
it puts in work, not just in the going second scenario. I search it when I go first, because for Kawaki to remain on the field during the end phase, you have to reveal a rock. So it's nice just to have a rock in your hand that has some utility beyond just showing itself for effect. As mentioned before, Delusion, the Delusion Nib chain is pretty strong. When you've already set up a board and your opponent is attempting to play into it, and at that point, most of the time, it's too much advantage for your opponent to overcome at that point. I think Nib has like a little bit of an unexpected value right now. I don't think people are expecting you to Nib them, and oftentimes they're not respecting that option when they're trying to combo off. So every so often you do catch somebody by a surprise in like game one or two, but usually by game three, like they know what you're doing and they respect it a bit more. But even in that case, like I don't think it really matters, because knowing that you have nib doesn't really change the fact that you can't get around it.
Hmm. Correct.
Uh, moving on to like true non-engine, two Ash, two Droll, and then triple Fuwalos for the rest of the monsters. Um, I've been playtesting three Ashes for a while. I don't really like it, especially with KT running around and them stacking your deck. You do not want to see more than one Ash Blossom in the first 7 cards of the deck, because if you do, you're going to get stacked with a second Ash Blossom, because they know that you already have one, and then they know that your next card is also Ash, so they'll give you just 2 Ashes, and that is a really unfun play to deal with if you lose dice roll, and then you end up having to play through that double Ash hand. It makes most matchups unwinnable at that point if they stack your hand like that. That was also the logic behind running some other cards at 2 in this deck, just to reduce the chance that you get your hand stacked by AT in a way that's not really advantageous for you to play. And then finally getting into the spell non-engine, maining talents. Called by, these cards are just crazy right now. I think both of them have really good value going first and going second. I felt like any game that I drew talents, it was live. Any game that I drew called by, it was live, regardless of if I was going first or second. Because playing into the KT board, playing into branded boards, they tribute for effect. You're able to hit them with called by to really stop their combo during your turn. Then 2 droplets. Same reason why I said I only ran 2 Ash. 3's nice, but you just don't want to see 2 in that first hand. And then lastly, triple Super Poly, which was kind of like a last second addition to the deck this weekend. I hadn't really play tested with it much. I was playing some other cards. Basically, I was just playing the other non-engine at 3. But I decided to cut most of them down to 2 and then make room for Super Poly. And then this card came in crazy. It totally soloed games when Super Poly plus a droplet resolves. There's really not much else that your opponent is able to do after that.
Wow. So I know we were talking about this in the group chats. But what was your reasoning behind playing Super Poly over something like the F&B package?
So Fallen and the Virtuous, while I think it's good, is I don't think it's that much. I think it gains increased like effectiveness if you're already playing an Albaz or branded adjacent strategy, where you can get it into rotation without having to hard draw it.
Hmm.
If I have to hard draw it, I might as well just hard draw Super Poly because I think just the mileage on 1 for 1 is just about the same, and it eats up about the same amount of extra deck space. So it's like uh, this card is able to break more than one monster at a time, and it's unrespondable as well, which kind of puts it in a tier of its own. I wouldn't be surprised if this card goes back to one or banned soon, just because of the rate that it's being played just across the format. So secondarily, you'll see it in a sec, but the Magnet Warrior fusion, he makes every card Earth on the field. So that means Garura and Mud Dragon are always live because they're either both Earth and the same type or both Earth and not the same type. So regardless, you're going to be able to resolve this card no matter what deck your opponent's playing.
Okay, very interesting.
Then moving into extra deck, we just talked about him. We got 2 Conduction Warrior, Plasma Magnum. This card is really good. He's basically like your combo starter from the extra deck. He searches Magnet Bonding, which gets you into plus minus, which gets you into full combo. So having the increased number of Earth Rocks in the deck turns the fusion from hand monster more into his own starter, just because if you open him plus any other Earth Rock, you're able to open straight into here, regardless of anything else. So it just felt like it increased the consistency of the deck and really turned minus into a really strong pseudo starter. When in other variants of the deck where you're not playing as many Earth Rocks, he's not as much of a starter in those decks, and you don't play him at 30. But since I ran so many Earth Rocks with the Adamancipators, it felt kind of crazy. Super consistent. Second effect is he turns everything on the field to Earth. This is relevant, especially with how many Dominus cards are being played right now. Your opponent activates Spark, but everything on the field's Earth. They can't activate any effects afterwards. I had more than one opponent this weekend activate a Dominus card in game 1, and then they are terrified to activate a Dominus card in any other game after that. I think they maybe sided them out. I don't actually know, but most of the time after the first one, I didn't see one afterwards.
Wow, that's funny because yeah, you've done that to me a couple of times.
Yeah. Next, Flux Oschenfeld, TCG exclusive. On summon, he just gets to bring a rock back. And then quick effect, he gets to bounce an Earth monster on my field, plus a monster on my opponent's field. It might just be a card even.
I think
Yeah,
it's
it's
just a
just
card.
one card, so it's not even monsters. So the effect is pretty flexible. You can use it to stop continuous spells and field spells from resolving. You can get like critical pieces of extra deck back to the deck, like Mirror Jades, so that they don't proc afterwards. Pretty good. And you're able to get minus back in the hand. So if you bounce minus to the hand and something from their field, you've created a follow up for yourself to be able to fuse on the next turn, which is, again, pretty good. And then if you don't get minus back, Kawaki cycling is also good. Once again, not once per turn. Use his effect, Flux, summon his back, use his effect, you get a lot of value out of it. Then we have just the super poly targets, Garura, Mud Dragon, and this was the monster of Theseus that I borrowed from my friend Alex this weekend. Shout out Alex for letting me use his cards.
That's the
He's
goat.
he's
He lends
he's the
everybody
he's the real
cards.
goat. Yeah,
Yeah.
for real. I don't think I need to say too much about these three. Again, everything's Earth, so these two are always live. And then Cool Tune, hate that deck. You just got to play it if you're gonna play the package.
Hmm. For sure.
Then for synchros, we have the goat Nat Beast. He soloed so many games. You just summon Nat Beast, and if they don't open Droplet, the game's just over. If they don't have Droplet or Imperm, they usually cannot play through.
Right.
Uh, then we have Raptite, the extension for Adamancipators. It has synergy with Fuwalos and Droll. If they're in the grave, it turns into a DD Crow on legs. You get to quick effect banish a card in the grave during your opponent's turn. Then we have Dragite. This card, crazy. I broke so many boards with it over the weekend. People just don't expect it to be as effective as it is. Once you side in Perulias, this guy's live for a spell trap negate, and then his main effect is to excavate 5, and then for every rock you hit, you non-target spin one back at resolution,
Mm.
which can be very damaging. I did that against a Malice player. I spun back two back row plus his Cryptor and access code. It was just over. Like he just wasn't able to play after that.
Wow. I also like that it doesn't destroy its bounces, so it's
Yeah,
pretty good against the Doom Z cards, which you know plus off of destruction. So very cool. That card's custom.
yeah, for sure. People don't expect the spell trap negate either, because I was playing against the Malice player. When the card hit the field, he immediately tried to spark it, and I immediately just chained to negate the spark, and then I used the spell speed 1 effect to spin back cards afterwards, and he just couldn't respond at that point. Then getting into the link monsters, we do IP, SP, and cross sheet. Uh, pretty straightforward here. IP, great extension into some of the larger links that I'm about to show. IP just generally useful when you're able to get so many bodies on the field. And cross sheep is just another way to cycle Kawakimiru. Uh, so if you get cross sheep plus flux and he's already on the field, that's 3 cycles in 1 turn, which is usually too much for most monster-based strategies to even deal with. And that point is usually the game's over.
Hmm.
Specifically with IP in this deck, the interaction with Telusion is kind of interesting. Just on the basis that Telusion steals a monster on top of uh, on top of tributing itself to summon 2 extras from Banish. So a common play that I did this weekend was Telusion steals the first body, tributes himself, brings out the minus and the plus, and then from there, I'm able to IP link into Underworld Goddess, and then Underworld Goddess just got summoned using not just 1 but 2 of your opponent's monsters. So they've gone -2 in this combo where you've already taken like 2 bodies from them, and you've just plussed the whole way across it. Because when you send here again, plus again, you just keep gaining these incremental advantages over your opponent as you play. And then finally, to round out the list, again, shout out Alex. I borrowed his Gorgon, and then we got Underworld Goddess of the Closed World. These 2 cards are crazy. People almost never expect Gorgon. They expect the SP, and I think that's what most people are like mentally prepared to respond to. When you have IP on the field, they never expect Gorgon. Uh,
Wow. How many
it's pretty,
times did that come up?
like at least 3 or 4 times. It's just like the chain starts, your opponent activates like one monster effect, they activate a second, you activate some back row, then you activate IP at the end of it. Gorgon hits the field. It is just blanket negating every activated effect that came before it in the chain. And usually at that point, a turn just kind of fizzles, just because this card, it's not really played, I think. I don't really see it very often outside of like myself. And then Underworld Goddess, just crazy. Can't be destroyed or is unaffected unless it is targeted, but then IP prevents it from being destroyed. So it's really hard to out for most decks when it's summoned by the IP effect. Crazy though. It's basically like a pseudo towers in the deck. And then finally, Gallant. They're all rocks. What else are we gonna do, right? We're just gonna search rocks. Then that does it for the main and the extra deck. And then just going into the side real quick. One Solemn Judgment, followed by 3 Solemn Accusations. Shout out my boy Ever, letting me borrow his set for the weekend. These cards were crazy. With just the prevalence of board breakers right now, you just need some form of non-monster negation in the back row so that you can insulate your board from effects like Dark Ruler, effects like Duster, Lightning Storm, Evenly Matched. I think I saw all those cards at least once, and these cards saved me like a very significant amount of the time when I set up a going first board, and then they attempted to break me. After that, we got Grisaille Prison into Triple Tactics Thrust. With the prevalence of synchro strategies and XYZ strategies right now, with Doomz and Cool Tune, plus the kind of the Elf Note Medius variants kind of running around, also being heavily synchro in like Xyz decks, this card went crazy. I was playing against the Elf Note player. I activated this. The game was just over on the spot.
But can you that's a pretty uncommon card. What is that? Can you read the card?
So, if you control a face-up monster that was tribute, ritual, or fusion summoned, until the end of your opponent's next turn, neither player can synchro or XYZ summon. Synchro and XYZ monsters cannot attack. Also, their effects are negated. So it is basically just one of the most messed up floodgates you could ever activate against synchro and XYZ strategies. Because if you notice the negation clause, it doesn't matter if it's on field or in grave. Because I had the guy, he tried to Harmonia send Malong to like grave to like spin back a card. Can't even do that. Card cannot. The card is just negated. And it's for 2 turns of your opponent's turn. So basically, you activate it during draw phase of their first turn, and then they cannot summon until the end of their next turn. Crazy.
Wow.
Absolute lockout right there, along with Nat Beast. Then we got the 3rd Ash Blossom, siding it in for when I know I'm going first, just to stop those Drolls, or to stop those Charmies and Perulias. Then the Breakers come in, triple Lightning Storm and Duster. Crazy card, won me multiple games as well. I was playing around with like a few different Breakers, but I think if you draw any of these plus Droplet, or if you draw Super Poly plus any of these, the game just kind of ends as well. Most boards can't hold up to getting their back row nuked and then their bodies just fusioned off. And then last card, Perulia. I played a lot of variants without this card leading up to the event, and I just always missed it. I know that there's a lot of strategies in the format right now that don't have to summon from the hand, but I think even at worst case, it's an upstart goblin against most decks where you just go even, and it deters them from going into even more broken end boards. Because it's like, Cool Tune doesn't have to summon from the hand. but they could normal summon and use JJ to get a second, and this just heavily makes them think about whether or not that's worth it, and it makes their end boards a lot more manageable, and usually ends up with me just kind of going card neutral. So I think a lot of the value is not just in what I have in my hand, but it's what they don't have on the field. And that concludes it.
Wow. Any closing thoughts before we end it here?
Last closing thought. I think people really sleep on Analyzer within the Adamancipator engine. There's a lot of people that think he's just not good. He is the only level 4 of the Adamancipator cards. That means if you summon him and he hits another level 4, that is one card Dragite. That is one card Omega. That is one card Gallant. All of those are great cards. This is probably was low key one of the best normal summons of the weekend besides Kowaki. And I just think he's a really good addition to consistency and kind of the spread of levels that I have in the main deck. Besides that, I think that does it.
Wow. Thank you, Ray. Congrats again.
Thank you. Shout out Esteban here for helping me record this and taking the time to also be part of our group and test with me. So
Yeah.
thank you, bro.
We're all proud of you, brother.
I really appreciate it.
We are
Thank you.
also
Thank
proud
you.
of you. Awesome. Thank you. Bye bye.